Kyle Mohan Racing. We're checking out this really cool prototype courtesy of Mazdatrix, and I've actually got a couple upcoming videos that feature really neat Mazdatrix rotary prototypes or developmental projects. I was fortunate enough to work at Mazdatrix while these were being developed, and for a while I've wanted to do a video on this particular housing, as well as some rotors that we were working on about 10 years ago. And recently, the owner of Mazdatrix, Dave, was kind enough to say, hey, you can actually talk about these. You can do some videos. It's never been secretive. We've taken these parts to 7 stock. Pictures have floated around online, and you're welcome to ask on this video comment section anything you like. I'll do my best to answer. But for reference, please don't call Mazdatrix and ask if these parts are available. If they were available, they'd be on the website. Mazdatrix is awesome. Make sure to order your parts from Mazdatrix, OEM, aftermarket. They support my race program, and I worked there for many years. But obviously, these parts never quite made it to the shelf. At least not yet. Maybe someday you'll see them there. So what we have here is actually a prototype that Mazdatrix was working on. It's an aluminum center plate and center support bearing combination. And it was an early prototype for an insert as well. Obviously, I think Billet Inc. was the first to really put this idea out there and into production. And we were looking at their products at the time, roughly 10 years ago when this was being worked on. And multiple goals were being played with. One is we were looking at the idea of doing aluminum side plates via CNC. We were also looking at the ability to do inserts, and we were also looking at the ability to do center bearings. Some of this stuff could be utilized in motorsports, but it could also be used in other applications. Rotary engines have been used in drone application, motorcycle application, aviation application, automotive application. So, and I think even in industrial application. So I think, we were looking, and the designers and Mazdatrix were all looking at diversity of application. And so another feature of this particular housing was modified water inlet and outlet. So kind of a traditional inner structure when you look at your water jackets. And we were able to achieve that traditional structure by having the insert plates. Because if you go full thick billet, you can't really machine behind that outer plate. And I know some companies do offer billet plates that are solid with flame sprayed surfaces. So we were kind of combining that idea as a billet plate with aluminum inserts that were flame sprayed. I really like what Billet Inc., Billet Pro, a lot of the billet companies have done with steel inserts. And if I were to revisit this, I think that would be a great way to solve some of the issues we were foreseeing. But if you look closely, you can see one of the ideas we were playing with was an aluminum to aluminum insert and then a flame spray. This was never machined down. This was just a prototype, kind of working on our bearing placement and carrier system, which could have then retained stationary gears on both sides, because this was a center plate, with the idea of being potentially applicable in 4 rotors, 3 rotors, multi-rotors, or in 13Bs, potentially without the gear, so you could have a high RPM lightweight motor. It's got inlet and outlet for water on basically both sides, so it could be cooled equally, and the motor could also be turned accordingly. I think it was very interesting ideas they were playing with, being able to turn the motor. And I think actually I've seen a motor recently, maybe we could bring up in a discussion or future video, where they've taken a rotary motor, designed it via CAD CNC production, and modified the orientation of the block, which is kind of cool. You couldn't do that with rotaries. So really neat stuff here. Again, thank you, Mazdatrix. Don't bombard them with calls. It's not available. I'm sorry. And I'll do my best to answer any questions about it. But it's really cool that Mazdatrix was working on developing these ideas. And I think it's really cool that they took them around and featured them at shows and talked about them. And for a while now, they've just been kind of sitting at Mazdatrix in the dark. If these do take shape in the future, which I don't know if they will, but they're currently not under any type of recent development. But the owner wanted me to showcase, which is Dave at Mazdatrix, exactly what they had done and we had done years ago. And we have a couple more upcoming videos. But I encourage people nowadays to get out there, 3D printers, a lot more CAD designers out there. And I think, whether you're making something for your own personal application, maybe a one-off, or making something more for industrial, automotive, or mass production, the ability to design any motor, especially rotaries, because that's what I love, is a potential. In this feasible look here, you could also achieve significant weight savings. So in this, obviously, without any oil pan, would have been a dry sump application, because that's something you can do with rotary engines, is really remove a lot of that bottom pan sumping. But obviously this was a project that was never completed, but had a lot of cool potential design aspects, and that's really why we did it. What Mazdatrix was looking at with other partners involved, and also obviously looking at what the rotary industry was doing at that time and has continued to do. And a lot of the things that were played with in this housing, you do see out there in the rotary world now. And so cool stuff. Thanks for watching. Definitely comment below, ask questions. I'll do my best to, fill any of the information I may have not put in there up. But, yeah. Thank you, Mazdatrix. Thank you, Mazda, for making rotaries. And we're all about the brap. So that's a wrap. That's a brap. Keep watching KMR. Subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. We're going to be definitely talking about some more Mazdatrix prototypes coming up really soon here. Maybe some aluminum and titanium rotors that might have been in development 10 years ago as well. So stay tuned. Brap, brap.